what is up? It is Karen, aka cakedbybabyk, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing part 2 of my tech series. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, the link will be in the description or in the cards up above. So make sure to check that out before you start watching this part. But we are going to be diving into a lot of topics today, mainly background, lighting, and audio. But before we begin, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my other videos. I am going to be doing a part 3, which is completely dedicated to editing my videos. So be on the lookout for that. But today we're gonna get into all these topics. I'm so excited. I have a lot of information, so let's go ahead and get started. The first topic we're going to dive into is background. So as you can see, I have a white background right here. I have experimented with a bunch of different backgrounds before. The majority of the time I've been on Instagram and YouTube, I have used a white background, and you can use whatever is available to you, a wall, a blanket, story time. So when I first started my Instagram and my YouTube, I used to hang a white fuzzy blanket from my bunk bed in my dorm room. This is when I first started out, so I really didn't have much to work with, especially in a college dorm room. So I would take a white fuzzy blanket, hang it from the bunk bed, which was on my right. So I'm sitting in a chair in front of a window, which was my light source for my pictures, and then the bunk bed would be to my right. I would hang a white fuzzy blanket from my bunk bed, use a piece of string and tied it to one end, and then I would like lift it up and then wrap it around the mirror on the opposite wall. So that was what I did for my white background, and honestly, it worked. Of course, you don't have to go through those extreme lengths to get a solid background. You can definitely use a wall, but I just did that because I'm picky about where I take my pictures in front of a light source. Since then, I have gone through numerous different backgrounds, and I've always gravitated back to a white background. I just think it makes the makeup look and you yourself pop out overall. I'm definitely going to start diving into more colored backgrounds, especially for my YouTube videos. But for now, let's talk about what I do now. So of course you guys see the white background. This is just the wall that I have. And honestly, this has been working for me for a long time. I do have some backdrops and I do have a background stand. If I zoom out, I got my backdrop stand from Amazon. It was only 40 bucks. I will link it in the description down below. Of course, anything I have will be linked in the description down below. I'll provide websites, Amazon links, yada, yada, yada. But I do have a backdrop stand. If you are using a backdrop or a background, I definitely have heard a lot of different opinions about what to use. I have only used a solid color wall and a cloth backdrop, which is a lot more popular than anything else. I have heard from a couple of other people that they use paper because it doesn't wrinkle as much as cloth does. So that's another thing to keep in mind. If you are using cloth, make sure to keep it taut and pulled really, really tightly, and then secured in place with these clips. So I have my backdrop clips. This is what this looks like. To be honest, I rarely use cloth backdrops because I like the way the white looks. But when I do want to use something colorful, I secure it in place with these. These are like 95 cents at Home Depot, super inexpensive. Also, Home Depot is a great place to buy and assemble any sort of makeshift lighting. I know so many people who buy their lights just as construction lights from Home Depot and use those in their videos, and it's honestly like, it looks so good. So that just goes to show you definitely do not have to splurge and buy studio things. You can definitely find different avenues and different products to make your photos look high quality and make your YouTube videos look high quality. Another thing with backgrounds is you definitely want to have some sort of backlight. So right now I have 2 lights on the floor that are shining up behind me, and that just gives a really nice illumination, and it doesn't make the color of the wall look a lot dimmer than it is. So this is what it looks like with the lights on, and I'm gonna turn them off for you so you guys can see. And then this is what it looks like with the lights off. So you can tell it's a very, very slight difference, but it really does change the overall feel of the video. The video is a lot brighter with the lights on. I especially love having the backlight for my Instagram videos because it just makes everything look a little bit more brighter and more cohesive because I do bump up the brightness on my Instagram photos. So with videos, I don't really have the ability to edit it in a way that looks truly cohesive and natural as the photos. So that's why having backlights like this are so helpful. I also got these on Amazon. They were super inexpensive. I will of course link them down below in the description. So that definitely moves into the category of lighting, and that is a little portion of it, but it truly makes all the difference in my opinion. Another light source you're going to want to have is in front of you. I have dealt with so many different light sources, and I will tell you the best one there is natural light. When I first started out, I did all my pictures in front of a window or outside, and it honestly was the best way. However, I get the most creative at nighttime. It's really weird. I don't know why. So it became difficult for me to actually film and do all of my creative endeavors at night because I didn't have that light source. So that's when I actually got my ring light, which I also got off Amazon. Actually, Nate got it for me and it was about $100. Honestly, it's such a great big help. Now I use a combination of natural light and the ring light. I can adjust the ring light to whatever time of day it is. So if it's brighter during the day, I can put the ring light lower. If it's darker outside, I can put the ring light up higher, which is really helpful. I will say that I'm not a huge fan of just using the ring light by itself. So if I'm doing videos at night and there's no natural light streaming in, it just doesn't look as great as having both. So just to keep that in mind. But if you are just starting out, I would definitely start out with using natural light. It truly is the best. The only downside is that you have only a certain window to take your pictures and your videos, so it's a lot more limiting than having an artificial light source. Now moving on to audio. So for my audio, I actually have two different mics. The first mic that I started out with was the Rode microphone, and that is the one that attaches on top of my camera. I actually still have that and still use that to this day. And in addition to that microphone, I also have a second one, which is the blue YETI microphone. I have the silver one, and I'll insert clips for all of you guys to see right now. You can buy both of these at Best Buy, and they're also on Amazon if I am correct. To be honest, I could just use the one microphone and be completely okay. But I just like having the security of using two because you never know what can go wrong in production. Your mic might not be working, so if one of them craps out, you do have a backup. So with the blue YETI microphone, it is USB cable powered. So I plug that into my computer and I actually record my audio on GarageBand, and then I export that onto iTunes so I can use it in my videos. So with the two audio files, I link them up in Final Cut Pro, and then I will just simply lower the one that's on the actual video. So the audio that I'm essentially using is the one from the YETI microphone because that one is a lot more crisp and a lot more clear. I just like to have the peace of mind with having two different audio sources. If you do use a separate microphone from your camera, I would definitely recommend to make a large sound right at the start of your filming so it's easier for you to link up in editing. So what I do is I clap, and that will create a spike in audio so you know where to place it and where to line it up against each other. And since we are talking about audio, it's really important to talk about your surroundings in your filming space. If you're filming in a carpeted area, that's going to be amazing. You're not gonna have to worry about echoing at all. But for my people with hardwood floors, you're going to have to take this into consideration when you are filming and when you are recording, because hardwood floors tend to generate more echo, especially if the room is empty. I remember one of my videos I shot in a different location other than my room. It was actually in my kitchen, which had very minimal furniture and hardwood floors. So the audio was a little bit echoey in that video and I wasn't aware until I was editing it. But definitely keep that in mind when you're considering a filming space. I have hardwood floors right now, but I absorb the sound with a rug that I have in the middle of the room, and I also have different pieces of furniture, and that is going to help combat that echo. So that's just one tiny thing that I feel like nobody talks about, but it's actually super important when it comes to audio. All right, you guys, so that is it for this part 2. I know it's definitely going to be a lot shorter than my part 1, but maybe that's a good thing because I felt like maybe there was too much information jam-packed into that video. Definitely be on the lookout for part 3 because that is going to be my video on editing and what I do in Final Cut Pro. I'll definitely have some tips for my iMovie users as well because I know a lot of people starting out are going to be using iMovie because it's free and easier, honestly. But of course, make sure to click that bell icon next to the subscribe button so you're notified whenever that goes live. I don't know when but it'll be up, I promise. With that being said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, all that good, and I'll see you guys in my next one.